Avatar The Last Airbender is one of the most beloved shows of all time, and everybody that I've ever known has absolutely loved the show. But we always get into very many arguments about which of the actual bending is the strongest. Some people think that it's air, some people think that it's fire, some people think that it's earth, and some people think that it's water. But we all are free to have our own opinions on exactly what the strongest bending style is. But in this video, I'm mainly just going to be discussing why I think water bending could have easily been one of the strongest bendings if it was utilized differently. Waterbenders as a whole are known for like just having this fluidity and being kind of more free with their movements, obviously being the complete antithesis of earthbenders. But we already know that they have a lot of problems within their own society that basically cause it to be where, oh, waterbenders aren't viewed as so strong. We've seen waterbenders be able to heal, and the fact that they're able to use water in the forms of actual water and ice is even a bigger threat. But the real main thing that I'm really going to be talking about in this fact is the fact that they have the sub ability to be able to bloodbend. Bloodbending is easily one of the most terrifying moves in the entire waterbender's set of abilities, due to the fact that we've already seen via in Legend of Korra with Amon and everything else like that, that you can actually learn to be able to use bloodbending when it's not a full moon. Katara was one of the first people that we saw use bloodbending and be actually so strong with it after she learned it from Hama. But we know the fact that Katara basically said, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to use this because it's too dangerous and it's too much of a risk for everybody else." The fact that we've already seen somebody be able to use bloodbending and multiple people be able to use bloodbending, but they've all said like, "Don't use it because it's so dangerous." If we actually had them be where they learned it and multiple people were actually not opposed to using bloodbending, they would be the most terrifying group of vendors because of the fact that now they have the ability to control people's bodily movements and be much more of a threat in entirety than anything else. One, the fact that they can heal, as I've already said, is terrifying because they can already heal injuries and heal people from a lot of different things. So that's going to be a very big problem if they were ever to go into battle or whatever war, because the fact that we've seen anything else like that. And what else we can also talk about is the fact that we've seen, again, with Katara being able to suck water out of living things from nature and everything. So the fact that we've seen that also means that if they can suck water from living things, can they suck water out of a human body? Because we are made out of 70% water. So that is a lot of things that I'm actually just wondering and thinking about, that is just mainly getting me to the point of, where is their limit? What is their possible limit for them to be able to do that they haven't been able to reach? Because I'm truly wondering, what can they do that they haven't been able to do yet that is going to even be more terrifying than this? Bloodbending, being able to heal, being able to use water and the way that they're able to use it, and being specifically affected by the moon, something that they have access to anytime that like the nights out and everything else like that, and the full moon happening once a month. We already know the fact that now they're basically getting this strength to have bloodbending, even if they're not able to use bloodbending at all times. They're able to use bloodbending at least once a month already. That would be extremely terrifying due to the fact that, one, that means it's not like one of those things like with the firebenders where they have to wait every 100 years for Sozin's comet to come around for them to have their peak physical strength, and then they also have, oh yeah, they have to wait for like the eclipse for them to like not have any of their abilities. Waterbenders have their abilities every single month to be able to bloodbend, and they have access to their abilities at any given point in time in the most terrifying ways. We've seen other benders be able to use their bending in very dangerous ways via Zahir using his air bending to be able to suck air out of somebody's lungs and everything else. And we've seen earthbenders be able to add and include metal into somebody's body, like what they did to Korra. We've seen so many terrifying ways to use your bending, but bloodbending still by far takes the cake. It is still the most terrifying movement due to the fact that they're just able to confuse and move your body to the world's weird extents. That basically just shows that one, you could do nothing when they're bothering you. The only person that we've seen be able to get out of bloodbending is the Avatar in the Avatar state. And nobody else has access to that, which means nobody else is ever going to be able to get out of that. We've seen people like Toph, we've seen people strong be caught in bloodbending and not be able to even move, being just completely overpowered and taken in to extents that we've never actually even seen before. That alone is honestly the reason that they made it illegal to be bloodbenders or whatever, and made sure that any bloodbenders would be taken into custody because of how dangerous that specific moveset is. But the fact is, if they even allowed that, to be something along the lines of, oh yeah, we are going to allow bloodbenders to exist as long as they use it in the correct way, as long as they use it in a way that's actively beneficial or using it only in times of necessity, that would have been a completely different story. That would have been a story that you could actively say that they're even more dangerous than anything else. Because obviously, yeah, they're in their own place and they're usually not minding anything else. But even when we're talking about like the way that the water tribe works and everything else like that, there are a lot of ways that you could easily try fixing that to make it even stronger in the Northern Water Tribe specifically. We've seen, like with Master Paku and everything else like that, the fact that they've already said that females aren't supposed to be able to fight along with the males. Females are basically just meant to be healers and they're meant to just be support people. But what we've seen with Katara, females specifically are usually fairly decently strong with waterbending. We've seen extreme examples of female waterbenders that are extremely talented and being able to do a lot of various things. Whether it's the Red Lotus, whether it's Kaya, whether it's Katara, we've seen them be able to do tremendous things with their waterbending that nobody else could even ever think of or imagine. So adding other females, because we know that there probably are a good portion of waterbenders in the Northern Water Tribe, so adding a few more that are females to give them even a bigger army or a bigger pool of people that are actively able to do that would just be amazing. It would be incredibly useful due to the fact that now they would have more people to work with and even more people to learn whatever techniques that they're learning. And it would just be an insane haul. And as even if I get to the fact that I was talking about earlier, speaking specifically around the fact of them possibly even being able to like use and take the water out of somebody like somebody's entire body. I don't even know if that's completely possible, but if that was, that would be extremely scary. That would be extremely dangerous. We've seen them, as I've said, be able to take water out of trees, take water out of plants, take water out of so many different things and have access to it at almost any given point in time. So we already know that if they're able to just like grab somebody, grab the water out of them, basically just suck them dry and use that water, that would just be even more terrifying in terms of any kind of war, in terms of anything else along that fact, because now they're even using mental tactics, because that would have to be one of the scariest things that anybody would possibly see in a battle. You would be really wondering, like, what can you possibly do in this situation to even be able to get out of that? That just scares people. That moves people into the worst way possible. That moves people into the scariest thoughts of their own existence. What can you possibly do in that fact? We've seen waterbenders be able to do so many different things. And obviously, we all love Avatar. We all love the story because of the fact that they address so many mature topics, address so many mature feelings and things like that. But we already know the fact that the way that waterbenders have been able to use their waterbending, it always just shows the fact that they're not using it to their full potential. They're not using it to the fullest extent that would really be terrifying in terms of anybody else possibly ever seeing. So, my main question to you guys, what do you think waterbenders would possibly even be like if they, one, chose to use bloodbending at any given point in time, trained bloodbending during the full moon to the point that multiple people would actually be able to use it at any given point in time? Or what do you think waterbenders would be able to do even if they went full out? Because we've seen them be able to do so many different things, but we've never actually been able to see them going to levels of the extent of like people like the Fire Nation or things like that. I want to hear you guys' thoughts and comments in the description, like in the comment section below, because one, this is my actual first video talking about Avatar. So if you guys do have any comments and do have any opinions for me to get better, please put that down in the comment section below. But I will be seeing you guys in the next video and everything else like that. But peace.